Did you know that your 40s can be some of your most exciting years ever? Stay with me.
Dancing through the night, stronger, bolder, moving with grace, owning her story, she's setting the pace. Step by step, she's breaking the chains, living her life, she's changing the game. Power and beauty, rhythm and soul, African woman, she's taking control.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to In Her 40s, Unleashing the Dynamite Experience. My name is TD, as usual, and we're back again to gist and talk about plenty things. Today, I think I want to talk about the power of contribution, and that's basically what we all bring to the table. And contribution also in terms of from a financial point of view, wealth, money, legacy, and everything in between. Personally, for me, I've just told you about my career. I've had a fantastic career, ups and downs, beautiful in betweens. But I would also say I've had periods where maybe I wasn't making money, so to speak. Might not have been long periods, but I have experienced not earning a living, nothing coming in. And sometimes even in as much as you are hustling, but it just seems like everything you're doing is just not translating into cash coming into your account or into your pockets. And that can sometimes be very frustrating. So what do you do in those downtimes? I think the most you can do is just keep building, because I feel that eventually things always pan out. But if you stop halfway, you don't know how it will pan out. So you have to keep at it, especially in this journey of entrepreneurship. It's easier when maybe I would say you're a career person or a salary earner. That responsibility is not necessarily on your head. It's the responsibility of the owners of the business to sort of ensure that salaries are paid. In some situations, staff might also be responsible for maybe bringing business in, but it's usually not all staff, maybe a particular department or a particular group of people. But more often than not, the owners of the business have that responsibility to ensure that they pay salaries for the staff that they've employed. Now I found myself to be that person. I'm now wearing the other shoe for the first time in my life. So it's different when you're saying, oh, you have a driver or you have a housekeeper that you pay salary. No. This way, you have office and you have people that you are responsible for. So whether you like it or not, whether you are broke or not, you have people that are looking up to you, because that salary you are paying them is what they are also using to fend for themselves and their families. So it's a ripple effect. So this responsibility is not something that you take lightly, because it's a commitment that you make to other people, that you also make to yourself, because you've asked people to sort of join you to build something. You can't leave them hanging halfway. It's really not their business if money is not coming in. And when I say it's really not their business, I'm not trying to make it seem as if there's a Yoruba saying that they say ogata oga ota, owo alaaru ape, meaning whether business come or business no come, you will pay my salary. It's sort of saying that before you start, you should at least have a plan. At the very least, you should have 3 months to be able to pay salaries, because that gives you breathing space to be able to build the business. That gives you breathing space to be able to focus on what needs to be done. Because if every month you're constantly dreading end of the month, end of the month, end of the month, it puts so much pressure on you that you might not even be able to do the job that you want to do with, peace of mind. Do it joyously, do it with clarity, with focus, with the drive that is required, because you are so focused on, I need to pay these salaries, or I need to pay this money. NEPA has cut, the meter has run out, diesel has finished, all those little things. And it's easy to say, because sometimes even your best laid plans can go to the left. Sometimes you think, oh, I have it figured out, I have it planned out, and things don't necessarily turn out the way you expect. Life happens, cost of stuff can go up, The way cost of petrol went up a couple of years ago, and that just had a ripple effect on everything. Cost of living, transportation, everything just pretty much doubled or tripled overnight. Some of those things you can't really plan for. It happens and you have to sort of find a way to adjust. But that being said, if you have at least a plan to start with, it's easier to adjust than if you do not have a plan at all. And it's a what do they call it now? Any entrepreneur will tell you it's an interesting journey. Interesting journey in the sense that you have to stay grounded through whatever trials or tribulations might come up. I'm still a baby entrepreneur. So I can speak from not just my entrepreneurial experience, but also when I worked for people or worked with people. Because luckily, for part of my career, I was part of like senior management team. So I got to also be privy to how the business ran, how certain decisions were made, especially if they were influenced by cost. And it teaches you a lot because it's no longer about what is nice to do. Sometimes you have to prioritize what's must do and what is nice to do. So what we have to do, because these are essential things that need to be done for the business to run. But then there are some other things that are nice to do or nice to have. I call them like the sprinkle sprinkle. Those are the things that will make it just nicer, maybe aesthetics and all those kind of things. They're not necessarily priority. So as a business owner or as a business minded person, you have to be able to prioritize a lot of those things so that you're spending money on essentials. If there's extra, then you can do the sprinkle sprinkle. You can't do sprinkle sprinkle first. It's like when you want to bake a cake. I can't be planning for the icing if I've not baked the cake. I have to bake the cake first. So at least I have to know what kind of cake I'm baking. Then I will know what kind of icing will suit this cake. So you can't focus on the icing without having planned out what the cake is going to be like. And that's what business is. That's what's pretty much, I would even say life in general, because even with your personal expenses, you have to first take out the essential bills. So things like rent, food, transportation, you have to take it out first. Before I say I want to buy clothes or I want to buy shoes or I want to go out and hang out with my friends, I can't use my rent money to go and hang out with the girls. It makes no sense. Because when we finish hanging out and having a good time, I'm still going to have to pay that rent. I'm still going to have to pay those bills. And those are the things that give you peace of mind. You know, the way they say the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, survival first, your basic needs, feeding, shelter, those are basic needs. Once those are covered, then you have the ginger to go and look for more to add on. But if I've not eaten, I don't know where I'm going to sleep. I don't know where the next meal is coming from. And you're telling me to dream big. Dream big how? Oga, I never choped today. You said I should dream. Like I can't even see that vision because the one in my immediate front has not been met. Like I'm hungry. I haven't eaten in 2 days. And you're telling me to dream big. I can't. Let me dream small first. Buy me bread and beans. May I even chop with pure water first. Now who chop belle full can pick and choose. Then I can say, oh, I've eaten rice too much this week. Let me try something else. You that you have not eaten, then they say it's rice, so you will chop rice every day of this. You will collect it now. Are you joking? You will eat rice every day of the week if that's what's available. So sometimes you have options because certain needs have been taken care of. And in life, you have to learn to prioritize. What are the important things that I need to sort out? And what are the other things I can build on and add on? Because I want to expand or I want to grow in terms of as an individual, it's easy to say when my basic needs are met. I can't be on a journey of self-discovery when I'm hungry or I don't know how I'm going to pay my rent. My landlord has been knocking on my door every day. I have to be sneaking and hiding to enter my house so that landlord will not see me. So I remember one of the places I worked, we used to joke about it that sometimes the people that come to the office early is not because they like work. Maybe they are running away from their landlord. So they have to leave the house before landlord wakes up early in the morning. And they have to go back home late at night after landlord has slept. It's a joke, but the truth is that's some people's reality because that's the only way they're able to still maybe manage owing a few months' rent or whatnot. But you become creative with it. And that's where the Mr. First to come and last to go joke came from that. Sometimes you're sneaking in and out of your house. So you're leaving dead of the early hours of the morning and coming back dead in the night. And you're not sleeping with both eyes closed because any small knock, you're afraid that it's your landlord that's come to ask you for the rent that you're owing. In that kind of situation, somebody will not tell you that you should come and pay for self-development or do coaching or do one thing. I just like, please, I beg, I beg, I beg, I beg. This one is not my problem. But like I said, for me, it was a growing need, hunger. It was something that I just felt like I needed to do. And I've been fortunate that maybe basic survivor has never really quite been my problem. Grace of God, maybe because I've also always had something that I was doing. And then I've always had, I would say, a good support system, family and friends. So regardless of whatever I was going through, there were sort of people around me that could help me cushion the effects. And that helped a lot. But it's also saying that you don't abuse those kind of relationships because sometimes we take it for granted, especially when it's like family or close friends. You take it for granted, then you now start to feel entitled. And that's that's another thing, a sense of entitlement. Because you assume that, oh, because this person is my brother, this person is my sister, it's my cousin, my friend, I did so much for you. So you naturally think that they should always be there, available to help you or to support you. It doesn't always work like that. Because sometimes people are going through stuff that they're not talking about. It's like when I mentioned in the last episode, I went through a bout of depression and very few people knew about it. So imagine in that period, somebody expecting me to maybe be there for them. It wasn't possible. Like it wasn't something that I had the mental or emotional capacity at the time to handle. But if I didn't explain what I was going through, you just live with assumptions, say, but this person, I expected you should have been there for me, or I expected more support from you. I expected. Doesn't always happen like that. Doesn't always happen like that. And that's why the moments where you are able to, you should, so that those moments where you are not able to, you can justify it and you can be excused because they will know that, okay, something must be going on for maybe Chukudi not to have my time today, not to pick my calls. But if you never pick calls, then it would just be a business as usual. I didn't expect anything more. I didn't expect anything less. And that's where, when I talk about contribution, it's basically contributing to ourselves. It's not necessarily contribution as in charity and whatnot. So all those things are fantastic and it's good. But the people in your immediate environment, how are you contributing to their lives? How are you adding to their lives? We all don't know everything. We're all just figuring life out in our own different ways. And that's where things like religion, society, history, and all those things come to play. You're trying to learn what other people did, what they didn't do, what can be done better, how to improve on it, and all those kind of things. But in contributing to other people is saying, I want to at least leave you better off than when I met you. Can be as simple as just having a 5 minute conversation. And it makes a difference in that person's life. It gives them a new perspective. Someone might come to you and say, oh, I'm trying to decide between A and B. And you say, oh, have you thought about it this way? Have you thought about it this way? And you leave that person with a clearer picture of how to decide. You might not choose for them, but you've given them a better way to think of the options that they have before them and now make the choice that is best for them, not necessarily, and that to me is contribution. That to me is giving back. That's also adding value wherever you may find yourself, be it in the work environment, your social environment, personal space. There are times you go to beer parlor and guys are just gisting about, it starts from football. And before you know it, they start talking about life. They start talking about business. You know how many business deals have been done in lounges, beer parlors, and those kind of places? Because it starts with a familiar face. Last week, me and this guy argued about Man U Arsenal. The next week, we gisted again. Before anyone, you just say, my guy, what thing you they do? Say, oh, I made this. I'm an architect. Hey, I have a friend that is trying to develop property. A deal has been done, all from just casually gisting about football or casually insulting, maybe talking about politics, insulting the government or whatever the conversation may be. But you never know. And that's the value of contribution, because in our own little ways, we're making impacts. But sometimes you have to stop and take stock and appreciate those little things that you also bring to the table. There's no completely useless person. Everybody has something to offer. There's no useless person. It just depends on you figuring out what it is that you have to offer. Sometimes that thing you have to offer is basic to you, but to somebody else is a big deal. I remember there was a story I heard many years ago. It was Sonny Okosu. Sonny Okosu, the musician, God rest his soul, and late MKO Abiola. And he was saying, oh, that MKO was one of course, their biggest supporters. He always contributed. He always gave them money when they were going for concerts, shows, and all those. And it's not like concerts now that people are paying for tickets. Back in the days, they only used to travel to do concerts and all those kind of stuff. So these were the people that were able to fund those trips. And these people traveled with bands, entourage, equipment, so it was quite expensive. So there were a few people that always supported the arts, entertainment, and all those kind of things. And MKO was one of them. So he was saying, every time I go to this guy's house, I never leave empty handed. So I think his birthday was coming up and he was racking his brain, like, what do I give someone who has everything? Like, what can I possibly give this kind of person? And then it occurred to him that every time I was around this guy and he had to sign something, he was constantly looking for a pen. Every time. So it's either, oh, do you have a biro there? Who has biro there? Where's my biro? And he thought about it. I was like, okay, this is one thing that this guy never has. It's not because he can't afford a pen, but for some reason, he just never has one. So he said, okay, he actually went to ask people that know that, please, I want to buy, beautiful fancy pen for Genge person. What can I get? And these were the days where fountain pens were still raining. So he got a nice designer fountain pen, the kind of pen that you don't want to lose. You know those kind of pens that you pin in your front pocket. So that type. And he was like, this is what I'm going to. He came in a box, everything fancy, and he gave it to him. And he was like, MK was so appreciative of it. And he was like, oh, wow, thank you so much. And in his mind, it was like, pen that you can buy 1 billion. You can even buy the company that makes the pen. But for him, it wasn't just that you gave him an expensive pen. It was the fact that you thought of something that he genuinely, like, he actually measured that, this pen, I will never lose it. He put it in his pocket, and that made him feel like, wow, I did something for this big man, this, someone that everybody reveres and that kind of stuff. And as small as it was, it made an impact. It made a difference. It did something. And that story stayed with me. And I probably heard this when I was maybe in my teens. It was some documentary on NTA or something. But as random as it was, it stayed with me because it made me realize that it's always the thoughts behind it. It's not necessarily about the size of the gift. It's the thoughts behind it. That I thought of you and I was coming to your house and I bought sweets that I know you like. Is something. That person will like, you remember that I like Tom Tom? Oh my God, thank you so much. But to you, it's just Tom Tom. But to that person is, no, that you even remember that it's this particular one I like. It's a lot. It's a lot. And sometimes you don't realize those little things that you do can change somebody's entire day. Can just, maybe I was having a bad day or I was moody or I was whatever, and then you do one small thing for me and it just changes my entire day. It just becomes a brighter day. I'm just happier. I'm just, and all those things made me become, I would say, maybe more intentional about it. So I would say, yeah, I think I'm a relatively cool person, thoughtful-ish sometimes. But now knowing that it's not always just about the big things. Sometimes it's the little things. Sometimes it's the thoughtful things. It makes a difference. It makes a huge difference. And it not just makes a difference, it also endears you to people. And you become that person that they like to be around because they know that every time this person is around is a good time. I know that this person is paying attention because we all want to feel like people notice us, people pay attention to us. And the only way you can show that is from the things you say. So you might have mentioned it in a casual conversation. Say, omo, I love amala, man. But this my area, there's no nice amala joints. My head, I'm like, don't worry. Me, I don't want nice amala joints. Maybe one day I'm coming to your house, I'll just package the amala and bring. It's a surprise. It's small. It's buka food. Maybe it's cost me less than 5K. But to you, it's like, oh, wow, fantastic. Oh, this, oh, that. And it shows that it makes you feel like this person was paying attention. This person was listening when I was talking. And that helps. It helps relationship building. It helps. So sometimes people always say, oh, networking, networking, networking. A lot of times, what I notice is people that are so focused on networking are focused on what they can get from you as against what they can do for you. It changes the dynamics because the people you are trying to network to are used to people wanting something from them all the time. So how about you flip the script? What can I do for you? Sometimes it's still you selling your business, but you're selling it from a different perspective. It has now become, oh, this is what I do. I don't know too much about your business, but from the little I know, I think this is the part where we can come in. This is what I think we can do for you. Oh, I'm in the hospitality business. Maybe if you have an event, I noticed your last event, maybe they ran out of food. But what I can do for you is if you order food for, say, if you tell me you're having 1,000 guests, I would recommend that maybe you cook extra 50 people. So that way, in case you get some people that you didn't plan for, it's still covered. That person is going, this person put some thoughts into their proposal. So it's not just me saying, oh, leave that person that has been catering for you since, come and cater. No, I identified a gap and I now told you what I can do different. That automatically changes how you think about me. So even if you don't give me that particular job, I've taken up space in your brain. I've given you something to think about, like, oh, wow, even though this person is just a caterer, but the way they package themselves. I don't even when I was doing catering in school, I wanted to work with companies. And these were some of the things I learned because it's problem solving. It's not just, oh, I do this. What does what you do? How does it solve somebody else's problem? I'm trying to feed 1,000 people. How does your business solve my problem? It's not even just a case of maybe money is not an issue. So I can have 1 billion caterers if I want. Why do I choose you? That's where the difference is. That's the power of contribution. Same thing with, that's why I said, in your own quest of seeking for things for yourself, you have to also ask, how is this thing that I'm looking for, how is it going to benefit other people? How can other people benefit? So we all want to make money. That's like the fundamental. Everybody wants to make money. The how we will make money will differ. It would vary. And in the how is either you're providing a service or a product in that regard. So whatever service or product you are providing, other people are doing it as well. There's competition. They're not the only person. How do you stand out? A lot of people are praying for their helper, their helper, their helper. Some people are in church and mosque every day, fasting, doing, going to the mountain, everything. And they're asking for their helper. But if their helper comes today, are they prepared? Are they ready to say, okay, this is how? Because if someone comes to you and say, how can I help you? I don't think a lot of people are ready to answer that question properly. Not just give me money. Just give me money is basic. How can I help you? Like, what can I do that would change your life? Then you will hang. So why are you praying for the helper when you yourself you have not prepared? So that when the helper comes, you are ready. So by the time if God, let's say if God favors me now, and by some chance, maybe Dangote or Tedola, all those kind of people who see this podcast, and I say, this young girl, please invite her, let me discuss with her. I have role plan. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, this is what I want to do, sir. This is how I want to expand, sir. These are the things, this is the reason why we started the level we started. But if we have this, if we have this, sometimes it's not even money. Sometimes it might just be, you want someone that has more experience than you to be able to guide you and teach you. Sometimes you want someone who has maybe connections to certain places that you don't have access to. But until you're clear what it is you want, you just keep thinking it's money. It's not money. I don't want you to just dash me. No, it's a lie. You can dash me money. I'll take it. But it's not that I don't want you to just dash me money. I'd rather you teach me how to make money. I'd rather you contribute to me making money for myself. So I'm not constantly coming to meet you for handouts. The way they say you can give a man fish or you can teach him how to fish. So I can be giving you fish every day. You keep coming back every day. But once I teach you how to fish, I don't expect you to come back again and be asking me for fish. I've taught you how to fish. I've given you the tools or equipment you need to go and fish. I expect you self to catch fish and come and say, inside the one I caught, oh, I say, let me to bring you. That's the whole point. And that's the only way we can build off of each other. So sometimes you find that it's like with, I'll say almost like employer-employee situations. You have a fantastic staff. Obviously, you don't want that person to go because maybe they're contributing very well to your business. But eventually people would want to move on. Some people want to start their own thing or try somewhere else. You have to be able to let them go with love, especially if you know that they're living better off than when they came. You'll be confident to be able to say, I don't want you to go, but I want the best for you. Because that person is also going to go on and maybe employ other people, feed other people, add to other people's lives. And that's the ripple effect. That's the cycle. That's our own, what they call it, food chain. We feed each other. So we pass on to each other. You learn from someone and you apply it somewhere else. You learn from, like I was telling you, media read, squeeze the life out of me. Trainings, everything. Trainings, workload, pressure, dealing with clients, managing accounts, like the volume of money that we used to handle for brands. Huge, huge. So you couldn't afford not to know what you were doing, And in doing all those things, it was many years later when I got to Paramount that all those experiences that I accumulated now came to bear. So I would almost say Paramount enjoyed a lot of that. And it's not saying that, of course, I learned at Paramount as well, because it was a different space for me. For the first time, I was going into sales and marketing. That was something I'd always run away from, because I always felt like, if I do sales and marketing, I'll just be a marketer. But for the first time, I was doing sales and marketing. And luckily enough for me, I was working in an environment where it wasn't just go and sell. It was a case of how do we want to sell? What are we selling? How are we packaging it? What's the story we're telling our clients? How is this going to resonate with brands? So there was a lot of thinking and strategy and planning. So that background that I had, like I say it was a marriage bed in heaven. It just fits. It synced. It fits. But it's the power of contribution. Somebody contributed into my life. So I was also able to contribute in other places that I went to, other places that I worked, other people that I interacted with. Even in my personal life, there was a shift because I saw myself thinking differently when it came to how I wanted my personal space to be. Because I was coming from an environment where my MD was the kind of person that would say, what they call interlocking tiles. That's what's all this small grass that is coming out of it. So the office assistants will have to go and sit down and be plucking all those grasses. In fact, sometimes they be known to use brush and soap to wash. That's how finicky my former boss was. Yes. But you pick up certain things without realizing. But those things are, I'll say, expanding your view. Because when they say, exposure, some people assume, exposure is maybe education or you have to travel. Sometimes you don't even have to travel out of your environment. You just have to associate with people that have different outlook to life. And your view is broadened. Your outlook is also expanded. You see things differently. You are observing things from a different perspective. That's the power of contribution. In terms of building a legacy for yourself, you have to decide what you want that legacy to be. I don't know yet if I will leave trust fund for my children. All the best to them, because I'm going to blow my money. I'm going to blow it very well. If you remain, all the best, I will give them. But they will chop it with me. So therefore, And what I think is more important is the values that I instill in my children, the values that I instill to all my wards, because some might not be your kids, some might just be people that you help to raise and people that you sort of have the opportunity to interact with or have the opportunity to nurture, so to speak. But I want my legacy to be one of a life well lived, a life that gave back, a life that explored, a life that didn't limit. I want to leave a legacy of not limiting myself. I don't want to be put in any kind of box. I want to explore. I don't want to put boundaries on myself. I want to explore as much as possible. I want to see. So I don't know if I'll call it a karaoke event per se. It's more like a sing along. I love to sing. I like to. Can't sing, but I can rap. I like it. I'm stuck in the 90s, 2000s, music wise. I love, no, we say I love old school music. Love, 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 love old school music. So, like I was saying, value of contribution. And I feel like when you allow yourself to be, you give other people permission to also be. Because being your true self gives you, how will I say, it allows you to embrace your flaws. It allows you to make mistakes without beating yourself up, without chastising yourself. It's basically, okay, yeah, I fuck up this one, no problem. We move. Oh, I got this one right, we move. So whatever the scenario, we move. In doing that, you don't know who's watching. You don't know who's observing. You don't know who's learning or seeing from the things that you're doing. And by doing that, you give people almost like a consent to also make mistakes. So imagine being a boss who every time situations happen, you are shouting and screaming and blah, blah, blah. Then when your staff messes up, they can't come and meet you to say, Oga, something went wrong. Because in their mind, they're like, this man is going to shout, he's going to this, he's going to throw this, he's going to insult me, he's going to... You don't allow... Same thing, even with kids. If you are constantly the shouting dad or the shouting mom, your kids can't come and tell you when they've made mistakes because they're afraid that you're going to shout instead of you listening and correcting. So correcting is part of life, but it's how we do the correcting that makes a difference. And in saying that you want to contribute to someone's life, I can't judge you if I want to contribute to your life. I have to meet you where you are. And that can be anywhere. I judged myself for a very long time. I chastise. See, we're usually our own worst critics. And I think I'm, harsher than most because my expectations sometimes they don't match the reality. So I'm constantly saying, but you should, or you should have, you shouldn't have, and all those kind of stuff. Well, as this whole embracing myself, self-discovery journey, and all the whatever else you want to call it, I've learned to just accept it all. It worked fine. If it didn't work, I've learned one way not to do it. I've learned another way to avoid, or I've learned something to do better or to improve on. So, I mentioned in the last episode, I said, as we go on, you see that we're improving, we're improving, we're improving. I'm sure the first episode, I was probably like, what am I going to say? Oh, what am I going to say? As you're going, you see that story plenty, just plenty. So so in terms of contributing to life, contributing to others is giving back in your own way, giving back in a way that feels right, in a way that feels true to yourself. And not everything is financial. I keep reiterating that not everything is financial. As much as finances do a lot, but most times it's a temporary ease. That's why you hear stories of people that won the lottery and in a few years they lost all those millions because they were not prepared to handle that kind of money. So imagine someone who was living paycheck to paycheck all of a sudden now wins $100 million. What the fuck is he going to do with 100? Do you think that guy knows anything about investments, stocks and bond and all those? He has no. So even if he opens multiple businesses, just give him a few years. Those businesses will run down because he'll probably employ his family members and friends, and because in his way, that's my way of giving back, but that's not the right way to give back because you're employing people based off of sentiments, not based of capabilities or skills. or what they can contribute. And because you two, you are not clear in what you want them to do, everybody just resuming and closing. Shebi it's free money now. We're all just chopping inside the national cake kind of vibe. So it's not money. I would, if I had the opportunity to meet certain people, I would rather take them on as a mentor than for them to just dash me money and go. Because what I'll learn from them, I can make my own money from that. And that's money that will be longer serving. Because even if you dash me 100 million naira today, 100 million naira is not enough to buy house in a lot of places in Lagos. Let's not lie. If you want, it's not enough. So it sounds like it's a lot of money, but if you want to start ticking all the things you wanted to buy, that money will finish now. But if somebody taught you how to make 100 million naira, you will make 500 million. Because that principle, you can replicate it over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's not just one. So if I can build one business, I can build two, I can build three, I can build four. Because regardless of what business it is you're building, the principles remain the same. The discipline remains the same. How you approach it remains the same. So whether you're doing a food business today, an entertainment business tomorrow, a hotel next tomorrow, hospitality, whatever it is, as long as you apply the same principles, it goes. So I would take a mentor any day, anytime, because I know that from that mentor, I will make so much more. From that mentor, I will learn so much. From that mentor, I'll probably even get access that would have taken me much longer to get. I would meet people that I probably would not have met otherwise, you know? So sometimes you have to remove money from the equation and focus on what else. So if I had all this money, what else would I want for my life? And that's the path that sort of, or those were the questions, the kind of questions that set me on this path. Because I needed to start asking myself that, yes, everybody wants money. That's a given. How do I want this money? Because some people are ready to make money any which ways. They don't mind whose toes they step on. They don't mind how many people they crush along the way. Some people are ready to go do illegal stuff, whatever it is, unethical stuff. That's fine. I'm not judging anybody. It's a free zone. Please feel free. Do what works for you. I'm doing what works for me. So for me, I had to define the kind of boundaries I was not willing to cross and the kind of limits I was going to put on myself. And when I say limits, it's limits in terms of I want to make money, but not this way. I want to make money, but not that way. Those are the limits I'm talking about. It's not limits in terms of I can't put a cap on how much I'm going to make. Me, future billionaire in dollars. In dollars. Future billionaire. Today's date, market, future billionaire in dollars. So when you start seeing it, you know, be saying, this girl, what did she do safe? Only, how is it? Is it just from? Yes, it's just from. But I believe it, I own it, I'm working into it. And that's why the whole reinvention had to happen. That's why the whole self-development had to happen. That's why some layers had to be peeled off because they were already old and dried. So I needed to peel and reveal fresh layer that can now be this future billionaire. Dollar billionaire, dollar. Keep telling dollar. That's how to have beach house, how to have private jet, how to have helicopter. Is it by mouth? It's not by mouth, so you have to work at it. I'm ready to do the work, but step by step. We're okay with it, step by step. But more importantly is what else am I giving back? In the process of building myself, am I building other people? Am I helping other people in my own little way? So I might not be able to say, oh, I'm going to go and refurbish an entire school, or I'm going to take up one orphanage and decide to sponsor them or whatnot. But in my own little way, how am I helping others? So as you are growing, you have to keep carrying people along in that your journey, supporting people, helping people. We live in, and I think maybe those of us in this part of the world, and I say this part of the world, like Africa, we grew up with believing in giving back. So we have a very communal sense of belonging because most of us are products of communal supports. So the same way is also expected that you do the same. So you grew up with aunties, uncles, cousins, family, friends, different people. So it might not be that they are paying your school fees or anything of the sort, but at some point, maybe your mom was not going to be around, she was traveling, she would call one auntie, please, Quite me stay in the house for 1 week. Oh, I'm not going to be around. So that I'm not just leaving these kids maybe with the house girl or something. Or grandma is coming to sit down with you. Or they are shipping you to go and spend holiday in auntie's house, cousin's house, this one's house. So we got that support from different places. And because of that, we also got exposed to different types of living. I grew up, I would say maybe middle class family, but I had family members that were very rich. Go and spend holiday, the house is mansion, they travel every summer, maybe even every other holiday, and those kind of things. I went to QC, we had children of governor, minister, all the way to just the average Joe. My dad is a carpenter or a mechanic, regular everyday people like you and I. But we got to mingle with different types of people. So we were exposed to some things that to us is like, but I remember, I think when we were in school, I don't know if this story was true, but I know there was rumor that was going around about one of our classmates or so. I think her parents were going through a divorce at the time, and they were fighting for custody. So it was like every holiday, first to come and pick her was the person that got her for the holiday. And more often than not, they would travel so that the other person would not be able to say, that's, I don't, like I said, the rumor. You know, sometimes stories just get amplified and exaggerated. But that was the story. So you see someone will be sitting and be fantasizing, say, why don't we have this kind of, what if our own parents are going through divorce so that today I'm going to London, next holiday I'm going to America, I'm going to. We didn't think of the emotional turmoil she was going through. All we saw was they were traveling, every holiday she's traveling, she's traveling, she's traveling. But you know, as kids, we are busy there fantasizing or the, oh, she's going on holiday, oh, she's going on holiday, oh, she's going on holiday. And you know, so just saying that there were so many things that we were exposed to that might not have been our normal everyday lives. So you mingle with people that have so much and people that didn't have so much. We had kids in school that their drivers waited for them from morning till night. So you know that that driver is the children's driver. It's not even just that the children's car. Children's driver, they had dedicated car and driver that their parents had no business. So they had more than enough cars and drivers that their parents were using. That they will not be calling this driver to say, come and pick me. You know the kind of money you have for you to have driver and car dedicated to you. Then was some of us used to eat ride. Well, luckily I was in boarding house, so it wasn't too much. But you know, there are times where you're like, okay, you're going to school, you have a friend that stays maybe 2 streets away. Why drive all the way? Your mom will drop you at that person's house and you guys will go to school together. It makes life easy now. But some people already had car, driver, dedicated. So you saw all these things and you wish and hope and fantasize and whatnot. But everybody's story is different. I don't even know how I got onto this story, but just saying, I digress. But it's saying that we contribute in different ways. So somebody's, would I say, seemingly rosy life might not be that rosy. So you're observing from the outside in and you think, oh, this person has everything. What can I possibly do for them? How can I possibly help them? But you'll be amazed. You'll be amazed. It might not be what is on the surface. It might be deeper than that. Rich people have problems too. Yeah, rich people have problems too. Sometimes they just need an honest friend. They just need someone who's not there to exploit them. They just need someone that they can be themselves around. Without this person calculating. So imagine having a friend that every time they're talking on the phone about money, in your brain, you're already thinking, maybe I was talking about a deal of $100 million. How do I tax him? How do I tax him? After a while, you start avoiding you now. Because in his mind, it's like, this one, no, they won't hear anything. He's already thinking of what they can benefit for themselves. You know, and that's is off-putting. It can be off-putting. So sometimes it's more about what role am I playing in your life? How am I being maybe that supportive friend? Or am I just, sometimes it's just an ear, listening ear, shoulder to cry on, you know. I mentioned in the last episode that sometimes I was the venter or the ranter, and sometimes I was the person that was listening to another person just vent and rant. It has to sort of balance. If it's skewed too much in one way, then sometimes you start avoiding the person because it seems like every time this person calls me is to just vent and rant. Me self, I don't want. Me too, I'm looking for somebody to lift my spirits, just somebody to constantly bringing you down. So life in itself is give and take. And that's where I feel that contribution is very important, because if you're taking more than you're giving, then you start to become a bit of a nuisance. People start avoiding you. They might not be able to tell you the truth, but they start avoiding you because in their mind is like, this one every time. It's like, imagine having a group of friends that every time you went out and it's time to pay the bill, that's when they know they are going to the toilet or they are on their phone or something. They will stop inviting you out now, because after a while, it's like, this guy is safe. Even if they have more than you, at the very least, let me say, okay, you know what? You guys might be the ones buying the big, expensive drinks. Let me buy the platter that we are eating, or let me pay for the mixers. Let me pay for the water and Coke and all those kind of things. It also gives you self-respect. Your friends would respect you because they know that this is what you can afford. Or sometimes it might be as simple as, guys, you know me, I can't afford all this club money, but I bought a few drinks, we get small chops for house. You guys can come to my place. Let's just hang out, have a good time. That's you giving back in your own way. They might not expect you to do more than that, but in your own way, yeah, especially if there are people that are your friends, so they know your situation and your circumstance, and that's fine, you know? So it's not always, like I said, it's not always the big things. Sometimes it's the little things. Sometimes it's just the thoughtful things. I traveled, though. I saw this Ipekere. I remember that you like Ipekere, so on the road back, I bought it and brought it for you. Oh, it's Ipekere. How much is, Ipekere is, that's dried plantain, fried plantain. Yes, it's small, but to that person, it's like, oh, remembered. It's little things and it makes a difference. So in everything you do, I genuinely feel that giving back is very important, because the more you give, the more you receive. It's symbiotic. That's how life works. The more you give, the more you receive. And that's why I say the giving hand is always on top. You can't give like this. You have to, just like this. So for every time you give, and I believe God gives more to people who give. That's just something I believe. Because the more you give, the more He has to bless you. Because He knows through you, other people will get. So you are no longer a last bus stop. You are now a funnel to feed others, to give to others, to bless others. So you become a blessing as well. You're constantly praying for blessing. How about you become that blessing to other people? So me, I might be looking for 100 million, but another person is looking for 10,000 naira. I can't say because I'm looking for 100 million, I can't give you 10,000 naira. Doesn't make any sense. Like, come on, come on, come on, come on. I don't mean that it's everybody that comes to you that you answer, because some people, they are just exploiters. I know, yeah. So some people will be seeing this video and say, I thought why did not reply my message the last time I asked them. Yeah, because sometimes that asking is the only thing you do. The only time I hear from you is when you need something, when you want something. Yeah, so I might just blank you. I learned to be okay with that as well, because I'm naturally just generous, and I'm a mugu, I'm magawan. If you tell me a beautiful story, I go gawk. I go gawk. If you come and tell me, oh, this happened, this happened, this happened, in my mind, I'm like, hey, how can we help? Okay, what can? So I had to also learn to be discerning, even in that giving, because some people will take advantage of it. Some people will exploit it. And I keep saying it's not just finances. So it's easy to say, oh, somebody needs my help money-wise. You give if you can afford. But sometimes it's your time that they need. Sometimes they just need you to take time out of your busy schedule and attend their events. They're not even asking you to spray them. They're not asking you to buy extra. They will just love that this, my friend, came for my event and was there. Shikina. As simple as it is, it's something. It's something. So I'm learning to do those things. Luckily for me, I grew up in the kind of family that I grew up with. I grew up with the kind of mother that I have. So even if my natural defaults might not lean to some of those things, especially with time, I'm very lazy with going to places and things. Yeah, now, in my younger years, I was always out and about everywhere. We know the year party. Well, we know the year pa. We don't wear shoe. We're there. But as I got older, maybe I became lazier, Or maybe it just became a been there, done that, no be party. Well, we was there, we eat, we drink, we dance. But I'm learning to now, so now it's more about who is inviting me out, who's inviting me for an event, because there are certain people that are precious to you. So you have to nurture those relationships. Someone invites me for an event and I'm like, I'm sorry, I won't be able to make it. Maybe I have other things. But there's some people, you have other events, you will find a way. In those other events, you will find time to still, because they're that important to you. Not because maybe they're your chairman or anything, but this is that person that I know that they would also inconvenience themselves for me. So why can't I do the same for them? It's reciprocal, you know? So contribution for me is not just financial. Yes, finances help. It eases immediate burdens, but contribution is so much more. It's giving of your time, your energy, your resources, sometimes your skills. Sometimes a friend comes to me and says, oh, I'm trying to do this. Because you can do it, you're like, okay, wait, let me help you. I was just telling you guys, a friend of mine, I'll just say, oh, I'm trying to do this. I brought out his laptop. Hold on. And he's already say, okay. Before we finish that conversation, I have at least a draft of something that I might not have done by myself. You know, that's he's contributing to my life. So in my saying my story, in my saying I would always remember that person because I know that, oh, at one point in my life, this person helped me do X, Y, Z, and vice versa. So I would like to hope that me too, at some point, if I didn't in the past, maybe in the future, I'll be contributing to other people as well. And in the process, also building for myself, because as you're contributing to others, you're building a network of people that you can always call on, that you can always rely on. It's a no-brainer. Anyone who you have been a significant part of that, and it's not always the same people. The universe will bring people. So it might not be that person you helped that would help you back, but somebody else would help you back. That's how life works. You put out good vibes will come back to you. It's simple. In that flow of the current, yes. So I'm flowing with the current and just learning as I go on. It's not always about money. It's not always about the big things. It's just more about how I can add just a little here, just a little there, just a little here, just a little there. And before you realize those little drops that you've put in different places can fill a bucket. But you didn't know when you were putting those drops that you could fill a bucket. But eventually you'll be able to fill a bucket. There are some people that if they say, oh, I'm having an event, 1 million people have risen, let's go. What do we need to do? One person is saying, don't worry, I'll take care of the drinks. One person says, don't worry, I'll take care of the food. Don't worry, I'll send this, I'll send that, I'll send this. They're not just doing it because they are benefiting from this person. They're doing it because, and I'm saying benefit as in financially, they're doing it because this person has also done similar for them. So it's easy to do it without even thinking. So another person will call you and say, oh, I'm having an event. And you're just like, oh, okay. I'm not going to be around that I traveled. And that's it. But some other people, you will shift that travel date. You will change the ticket just so that you can attend that event because they're significant to you. And that's how life is. So as a business person, as a human being, I would say, because it's easy to say, oh, as a business person, but the truth is, you don't just change when you become a business owner. You have to have been building those things over time so that when you eventually become a business owner, you are able to now, those things have sort of become a part of you, so to speak. So in this, my entrepreneurial journey, some of the things I'm applying now are things that maybe I did in my first round as a university going little girl. And it's interesting. It's interesting because that's why I say the principles don't change. It doesn't change regardless of what part of the world you are from, regardless of what kind of business you're trying to build. There are certain principles that are the same through and through. And personally, I feel that if you treat people the way you want to be treated, that in itself is more than enough because we all just want to be treated like human beings. So regardless of where I am at this point in my life, I want somebody to look at me and just be like, oh, good morning, how are you doing? How is work? Fine, thank you. I know be more than that. But that has made a difference. I see so many people. Let's go there. I see people that they only treat people of a certain caliber well. When it comes to people that they feel like I can't benefit anything from. So maybe like workers, you go to a restaurant, you see the way they talk to the waiters, the way they ignore the sick. Even if the security man is greeting them, they're like, oh, I beg, I beg. Now money you won't beg, even if he wants to beg for money. Eh, he says, good morning, sir. You too, good morning. How are you doing? Good morning, good morning. Hello, hello. It will not remove anything from your body. But no, as far as they are concerned, who is he? But if another person comes that they think, oh, this person is important, switch. They are nice, they are caring, they are thoughtful, they are this. And in your mind, you're like, I remember one story. This was a long time ago. It was my mom used to have a shop in Aladi Market. I remember some ladies were talking about what the house girls eat. What did you eat? As I was talking about, so she went out and came back. Her house girl had fried 2 eggs. I was eating bread, yam and egg or something. She was like, now wow, so this is how you are enjoying when I'm not at home. And one person said, how did she fry 2 eggs? My house girl in my house cannot even eat egg. Who born her where? You know that kind of thing. And this conversation was so intense. My mom had to get up and say, egg, ordinary egg. It seems so trivial, but there are people, if you get to their houses, in fact, this is not even house girl, the way they treat their cousins or the children living in their house that is not their own child, you'll be amazed. It's like night and day. Night and day. I remember a friend of mine used to gist me that she stayed with her cousins briefly when she was in uni. And this woman used to take her kids into the room to give them Milo and all those kind of things, cereal, because to her, she felt like if I put it out there in the kitchen, this other person will eat it. What are you buying? What you are buying Kellogg's. Growing up, it was Nasco or Kellogg's. We didn't have all this plenty variety. So maybe you're buying Kellogg's. Okay. How about how much does she want to possibly eat inside? Unfortunately for her, this person also was not as if she was from a poor home. So she already had suitcase full. Said if anything, she was not even giving her children out of her own provisions. I would say, I have chocolate, I have biscuit, and be giving her cake. Meanwhile, she was busy hiding to give her children Milo and whatever. Why? So that another person will not benefit from you? It's amazing. Oh, I'm sorry. Like, I can't understand it. It's amazing. But that's how some people grew up. And they're doing exactly the same thing. They have that mentality of only a certain kind of people deserve a certain kind of treat. Why? 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 I don't get it. So I'm okay with, so let me not lie, there are boundaries. Yes, there are boundaries. There are some things that I buy for my own personal, would I say enjoyment or personal, is a sacrifice I've made for myself. So for example, now is maybe if I go out on my own, I say, today I feel like eating steak perere, and I buy it. I don't expect that my house girl will now sit down and say she said one chop the steak. I will swear for her. Because that one is my special treat to myself. There's food in the house. I know say you should not eat another food. But this my steak perere is for me. I beg, I beg, I beg, I beg, I beg. Yeah, that's different. But that's not because I think you're undeserving. I just can't afford to buy for the two of us. I can't afford it for now. For now. But when I can, we go chop the same thing. I know the one cooking the food. So you will cook food and I'll give you 200 naira and say you go and buy bread and drink pure water outside. No, now, come on. Life is not that hard. It's not that hard. Yeah, there's certain things that, like I said, you buy certain things, it's your personal preference. Does not mean that it's now free for. And some people abuse it. And that's why when this whole, I remember then I was working with brands. I keep telling people, I go, they digress, they go, they come. I was working with brands, and when they just started all this sachet, the tins and whatnot. So we did a dipstick. And we did a small research. We invited women, different classes, categories, and whatnot. And then they started talking about these smaller SKUs, which were the sachets. And we're asking, and one woman said, look, I love it. Try people see my beautiful decoration. And she was like, I love it because with my kids, if I put out a huge tin of Milo or milk, 3-4 days, they have finished it. But when I discovered this sachet, that was the best thing that happened to her. So everybody, take your 1-1 or your 2-2. That was the way she was able to regulate it. And so it's not because of affordability. It was just for her, this was an easier way to regulate, because I'm not going to always constantly be there. And I don't want to be that mother that is locking up provisions inside special cupboard, inside her room. And so with this method, it was just easy for her to be able to say, okay, here's your 1 sachet of Milo, your 1 sachet of milk, or whatever portion she was giving them, and there's no fights. Nobody is saying, Mommy, you gave him more than me, or his own is bigger than my own. No, it's the same quantity everybody has. If I'm giving everybody 1, everybody's taking 1. If I'm giving 2, everybody's taking 2. And that was such an interesting insight because, like I said, prior to that, we genuinely thought that it was created more for the masses, people that couldn't afford the bigger portions. But no, even the people that could afford it felt like this was an easier way for them to regulate consumption or usage, And as I say, you learn from different things. You have to be open-minded to be able to know. And that changed how we advertised those products. Because before, we thought that we're targeting people of a certain class. But when we had that research and we had those conversations, it helped us now tweak how we were advertising, because it automatically meant I'm not just advertising to my hairdresser or my carpenter or no, even that woman whose child is in private school is also buying these products because for her, she's using it for this. So the reasons for buying it might be different, but she's still a consumer regardless, So what did I start from? Contribution, we are still contributing. So it's saying that those things play different roles. So learning, contributing, giving back, it comes in different ways, different forms, different shapes, sizes, whatever it is. And I learn from different things. I observe different things. And in that whole observation, I think one thing I know to be true, people like to be treated like human beings. Full stop. Nothing else you want to say. I don't need to kiss your ass. I don't need to treat you like a god. Just treat you like a human, like myself. What would if I walk into somewhere, I would like people to greet me. If they don't greet me, I will greet them first. Hello. If I say the first hello, they do, hello, I'm greeting you. Hi, hello. By the time you say that, somebody will answer you. No matter what. Somebody will answer you because you can't enter and now be saying they didn't greet me now. Did you greet them? Maybe when you enter, they thought, maybe we no greet this one. If he So just treat people the way you'd like to be treated. Treated. Ogagos, treated. I tell you people, sometimes it's sliding. But yeah, just treat people the way you like to be treated and you would at least be playing a part. No matter how little, you'll be playing a part. Yeah. In life, in this journey, in this circle, in this whatever it is. So I think we've had enough gist for today. Like I said, we're going to be having an event in December. Details will follow shortly. I'll be posting about it. Now you understand why I've been singing at all my episodes. Now you understand. It's a passion of mine. I never knew what I wanted to do with it, but I always knew I love music. I tell you people, I love music. Can't sing very well, but I can sing other people's songs. I can sing behind them as background. It's nice. It flows like that. But something I'm looking forward to. It's also something that will stretch me, but we'll get into that as time goes on because I had to drop some behaviors, some habits, introduce new habits and behaviors because it would task me in a different way. But it's been fun chatting with you guys. I had a fantastic time as usual. Hope to see you next episode. Love you. Bye.